found Valyrian steel if you want 1020, 1090 something carbon steel. It was either 1020 or 1090. Not sure. So I've been like totally watching my YouTube channels about this right here. So I was kind of leery about making this video because I was like, there's so much going on with this right here. We should start it off piece of history. Like that's what Boogie Colt knife. So most of the videos I've been seeing about knives, these knives and knives like these, they've been saying it's a piece of history. This is a good story. This is a it's history, American history. So this is the Boogie Colt knife. If you watch the other videos, I I found this in the woods, deep in the woods, and let's just start it off, like this. Come on. Hopefully you can see it. It says Camillus, New York. And then on some of the videos, I've heard people call it Camillus or Camillus. I'm going with Camillus. That's what everybody else is going with. But there was 2 or 3 videos of them saying it totally different than the way I say it. And I say everything different than everybody. So, Camillus, New York. We do not have a date. So this is going to be, I'm thinking this is the 1962 jet pilot survival knife. This is like a, armed forces type knife. This is what they gave out to pilots, so all the there's so many videos about this knife and knives from the I didn't know about the K-bar, and man, I want a K-bar to go along with this. So I do have respect for veterans and thank you for your service, and that's like I tried to join up and shit, and then I didn't know if you tear your ACL when you're fucking junior in high school, sophomore in high school, that'll totally ruin your military career. Because nobody would even, they said, go try, first it was Marines, and they said, fuck no, go try Army. And Army said, fuck no, go, and everybody just kicked me on down, and even Air Force was like, we don't, not with the torn ACL and shit. So, actually, no, I didn't try at first. I just figured they would say that. But I know someone who got in with a torn ACL. He tore his ACL at the same time I did. So, but he got in, so. I don't know, but that's what happened with that. So like, I'm glad it didn't happen now, but like, I was trying to be in the services when I was like fresh out of high school. So couldn't do it. They all laughed at me, said, you got a fucked up knee, like not happening. So I was like, okay, cool, fuck y'all. And it was literally like they said, fuck you for wasting my time. And like they really were mad because I didn't tell them about my torn ACL. Literally they, it was fucked. So, found this in the woods. Been doing mad spiritual research on it. I think this is the 1962 Camillus pilot combat survival knife. And then so, instantly you're like, let's take a look. When I found this thing, it was not silver and Valyrian steel like this shit. It was totally. So first thing right off the bat, you're gonna make a spear out of this. You get out there and you need whatever. That's what them 2 holes right there are for. Spear. Okay, next we got, they call it a sawback from what they were calling the other videos. I literally watched about 50 videos about this knife, and so I'm going off of everything I heard. So, like I said, it's like 1020 or 1090 carbon steel. Um, let's go. I think it's a 1962 original, and the reason being for that is because when I watched the other videos, um, everybody's in the video I for sure saw a video that said in 1966 or 1967 they started putting dates on right on there. You'll see it. So this one other guy's video said if you don't have a date on the handle right there, um then it's one of the older original knives. So they start doing that in 1966, I want to say, putting the stamp on there. It'll be right there. Uh, so this thing is definitely one of the ones before. Definitely, when I saw that, I was like, that's definitely. So it doesn't have the date right there. It does say, again, just to make sure, this is a Camillus. It does say Camillus, New York, right there. So it was totally rusty. Been looked like it been out in the woods for a lot of years. I found it in Colorado. I'm taking it as like super spiritual boogie cult knife. So the next thing is I wanted to make the walking stick. If you saw the other videos, I had to kill the rattlesnake because it almost got us, me and my dog. So I took out the rattlesnake and everything, and I was like, I had a shovel that day. So I was like, I need a great, great, great um, walking stick. So I cut one, I cut a spiritual, it's going to turn that into a staff. And then the other one, because one's cut right at the right length for, walking stick. And then, we're just going to figure out in time. So, but to do a lot of what I did, I used this and it works. Oh my gosh, it works so great. So, it shined back up when I was cleaning those off and debarking those and everything. It totally shined back up to beautiful. I could see that it said Camillus and everything. To my surprise, you find out that this thing was probably made in 1962. It's got the sawback, like I said, and the sawback isn't for shit out here. It's for like if a pilot was to go down and be crashed if he was to be crashed in his airplane and he need to cut his way out, he's going, because this shit is made to cut through airplane material. Cut your way out, and then you gotta make a spear, and then you gotta survive, and all that shit begins and everything. So it's amazing that it's got new life. It's come to me, and it's absolutely just cut those damn things up just nice. And then so I had this, and when one time we went to Montana, that I always talk about, when we were a kid, we drove up to Montana when I was like in the second grade, and we were cooking out and everything. All my family was there, everybody was alive, and everybody was there. And my mom was cooking up, and she was like complaining a little bit about the knife she had that wasn't good. So she picked up a rock, and it looked just like this one, just like this one. And she went to sharpen it, and then she was like, "Damn, this is working." And she got the cooking done and everything, and it was good. We were at Polson, Montana, by that big ass lake, and so when I saw this, I was walking. Me and Bo were walking, and I saw this, and I was like, "Let's take this to the, shit. I call it Valyrian steel. I've been watching Game of Thrones like a motherfucker lately. I mean, I'm in the zone. And that's why, I don't know. It cleaned up great. So, like I said, I think it's a 1962. It's the Camillus Pilot Survival Knife. Um, I got it shined back up. Go look in the past videos. It was real rusty and didn't look like much. Another thing I heard, that this is like a hammer. If you needed to hammer something, they put that that end on there. They said the name in the videos earlier, but I can't remember. So just Boogie Cult knife, and then anybody who knows my life story and knives and stuff, you know that it's extremely spiritual. So the last thing I want to show you before I cut this one off is so I got the knife. I think this was the greatest find on the Colorado adventure. It's the end of the summer too. I want to tell you all that it's the end of the summer. So we're gonna close this out, and found the beautiful combat knife, pilot survival knife. I told you as much as I could learn about it and everything. There's so many videos. It's been so fun just to watch. Cause I was hesitant, cause like if somebody gets something wrong about this knife and everything, they get on there and they're pretty pissed, and they're from the military and everything, so it's a big shit show. So I guess I'm apologizing in advance if I fuck up and said anything wrong about the knife and everything. So the last thing I want to show you is I fucking went super glue crazy one day, and I super glued all that on, dude. Yeah. Where's the flashlight? Boom. Get some super glued on. I love it when the light hits it. All right. And as always, we got the spiritual turquoise just fucking leading us. New sharpening stone. It looks great. I had to cut, I had to make a fucking sheath for it. Oh yeah, the sheath wasn't with it when I found it. Okay, it's got badass sheath too. Sheath wasn't with it when I found this. I found this. Somebody dropped it in the fucking woods, and so this goes to my buck knife, and it goes to the buck, but I cut it, and I made a new sheath for it. So that's what it is, baby.